Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome back to Unpack Your Bag Podcast. We are your host, Tony Perks. Chantal in the building. What's Gucci?
Chantal is fine.
Yeah, Chantal. We're going to give Chantal. Welcome to the show. This is where we unpack our bag where it pertains to truth, life, love, and culture.
And hair grease. I'm just playing. It's culture.
Whatever. It is kind of part of the culture. We need that sometimes. So we're going to be talking about toxic masculinity for this episode. And this can be a really... Oh, you taking off your jacket? Look at
No, I'm not taking off my jacket. I'm not taking off my jacket.
Go.
But more specifically, we're talking about whether or not we think that toxic masculinity exists.
We're gonna find out today. And I have some discussions for that with you. Particularly, but no, the real talk. So maybe like 2 weeks ago, we did a live video talking about the N-word, about kids staying at the skate park and stuff. And I went to the skate park like a week and a half ago, and it happened again. Some little kid, I think he was Mexican, just came up and he was talking to these two girls at the skate park, and they were all like teenagers, and he was like, some. He was like, "Nah, nigga, what y'all talking about? Nigga, that's stupid." And I'm just like. Is today the day? Is today the day? And I was like thinking like,
today.
Should I be that guy?
Is today the day?
And I looked at him, I looked at the two girls, and I was like, it's not the day today.
Oh, it wasn't the day?
It wasn't the day. I wanted to.
It wasn't the day.
I felt it, but I was like, I don't want to be that old guy today. I want to enjoy my session.
All right, what about tomorrow?
It depends on the day. It honestly, to be honest, if it happens again, it's probably going to be the day.
You know what? I feel that because, I mean, maybe not in regard to this specific conversation, but like whether or not it's the day, like literally varies on how you feel when you wake up in the morning, right? Like,
because but there was another guy who I haven't seen in like 5 years, and I'm like, oh, like homie Ralph, like dude, I escaped. So I was like already kind of like happy. I didn't want to really tear down my joy with being angry with this little kid who's just saying something he has no idea what he's talking about. And the girls were just like, yeah, they didn't say it, but I feel like they probably say it amongst each other. And I was just like, I'm not bringing my joy today. I'm not letting y'all rob my joy.
So for you, it was like I'm in a good mood, so it's not the day, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to bring down my joy.
Yeah.
Yesterday, it was like the things in life that I care about today are very small. You know what I'm saying? Where you just wake up and you're like, the things that I actually give a care about, right? Because I'm not cussing anymore. Like, so go ahead and insert that cuss word there. But like, it's very, very small.
Oh, okay.
So like, if that would have hit me on that day, I'd have been like I don't have the energy.
There's a lot of Samuel Jackson words.
Like I don't have that. No, it wouldn't have been that because that requires energy, right? The Samuel L. Jackson requires energy. Being angry requires energy, right?
It
so
does.
It's like I don't have it. Whatever the it that I'm supposed to have to get through this, I ain't got it. So I need to save it for me.
I understand that. I understand. You're just like, it's not. I'm just too tired to care.
Yes.
I'm too tired. It's not happening.
Yes.
I understand. I was just like, nah, I can't do this today. I'm too happy. Like, do you want to bring your joy down off something you don't have to be mad about at the moment?
Don't do it.
When you can just go and stay happy. Like, I'm like, happiness or teaching a lesson right now. And I'm like,
don't do it.
I'm going to stay happy today. But I think, because I feel like it's building up.
Yeah.
So I think the next time it happens, I'm probably going to go way too far.
But you can't go Sam Jackson on them either.
I don't want to.
We got to find a balance, right? We got to find a balance.
But it's like me, how I think it's like it should be, I should do this every time or not at all. I shouldn't be just wavering on my feelings. It should be, if I'm going to say this, I should correct it every time or deal with it every time. I shouldn't be like depending on how I feel for the day. I should cuss you out because you said I'm disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? That's how my brain feels. So I'm like, if I'm going to just live by that, then I'm going to live by it. So I'm trying to be like, don't trip. These kids don't even know. And even if I go off on you, they're not even in the mindset to really understand or change their mind at this point. You know, I'm just some old guy that never seen yelling at him about saying the N-word.
That's true. We are old. We are old.
You know?
And that's only evident when we're dealing with teenagers.
Yes. Yeah, they make you feel really old.
Make you feel old.
But I digress. So let's get into this.
Toxic
masculinity.
Masculinity. Masculinity.
So
masculinity.
Okay, Chantal.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Chantal.
Masculinity.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so just to like be like really 100%, I'm going to look up the definition and then we can kind of go off the definition. Because I think with this term, there's a lot of
misconceptions surrounding it.
Yeah, and it's just like, I just feel it means this, and I feel it means this, so like I kind of want to get a baseline, and then let's kind of, unpack that.
So then go ahead and find the definition, but what I want to say, added on to it is that this is not, when we're talking about toxic masculinity, I am not speaking well today. Toxic masculinity in the confines of this conversation, what we are not talking about is patriarchy.
Okay.
They're different.
Yeah, for sure.
They're different, right? So patriarchy is really a system that promotes the male gender, really, if you will, over the female gender, right? Without getting into specifics and that's a very vague overarching definition, right?
Yeah. Okay. Toxic. You really, don't cuss. Just don't cuss.
Toxic masculinity is not that. And that's not what we're referring to when we talk about it.
Okay, so I'm going to read this first definition. This is from Wikipedia.
Good old Wiki.
It says refers to traditional cultural masculine norms that can be harmful to men, women, and society overall. This concept of
cultural masculine norms. Okay.
Masculine norms that can be harmful to men, women, and society overall. This concept of toxic masculinity does not condemn men or male attributes, but rather emphasizes the harmful effects of conformity to certain traditional masculine ideals. And then another one is from the New York Times.
So just based on that first thing that you said, right?
Okay.
Cultural
masculine norms that can be harmful to men, women, and society overall.
Cultural. That's that's so huge right there. That's paramount. Okay. Cultural masculine norms. That's paramount. And the reason why that's paramount is because this whole idea of toxic masculinity, I think, really came about in terms of its really prevalence in the Black community and with Black males when we start talking about early hip hop and the ways that early hip hop demeaned women.
Okay.
So the fact that they said cultural is huge to me.
Okay.
Because I really think that this is a conversation because of the prevalence of hip hop culture in the world and our contribution to hip hop culture as a whole. We'll forget our contribution. We are hip hop culture, right? Like we didn't contribute to it. We made the damn thing. So
I think it's a little beyond that.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you're talking about like toxic masculinity, women didn't even have rights for a while. So would that be inside of toxic masculinity?
Toxic masculinity. Okay, so
because like there was things that women couldn't do because of the men who chose that.
So that's what I'm saying. That's patriarchy, right?
Gotcha.
Keeping a race of women down, you know what I'm saying? It's patriarchy, and I don't think that Black men are able to operate in patriarchy because Black men themselves are being held down by the ultimate racial oppression, right? By the ultimate system of racial oppression, right? Okay. So when you're talking about men keeping women down specifically, I believe that to be patriarchy. I could be wrong. Scholars holla at me, right? And I don't think Black men participate in that because we are all ourselves as Black individuals being pushed down, right? And Black men don't have enough. Right.
So you're saying it's like the power dynamics. Like, yes, you're saying that Black men don't have that control over all of society to be able to do that.
They don't have control of the institutions to do it, right? Okay. To keep people out of it, right? That's patriarchy. That is a white man thing. Okay. Toxic masculinity, right, are the ways that men have operated and the ways and the things that men have done to demean women. Okay. Not to keep them out, right, of systems, but to demean them and to take away from their value.
So your example was like the music videos or like the hip hop scene back in the day.
The whole hip hop era, I think, is where this really came about.
Where you start seeing it more, like where it started to become like this is potentially is an issue that nobody ever noticed or saw up until kind of hip hop. You kind of saw it through hip hop, essentially. Yeah. Was that like the Jay-Z thing of popping bottles on women, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. The way that a woman exists to please a man, right? Okay. That can be an example of that. The ways in which a man feels the need to,
because I think when I hear the term, I feel like when I hear the term, it refers people are using it in like regular masculine things, like just a man taking charge is now toxic masculinity.
No.
Someone standing on what they believe turns into toxic masculinity because they're not willing to budge.
But how about the idea that men don't like to take advice from women, right? Or they don't see that something that a woman can say to be valuable to them as taking it, right? Like there's some men I can understand. I was that way before. To me, that's a version of toxic masculinity, right? Okay. To say that because she's a woman, she's not gonna say anything valuable or relevant to your situation or to your plight, right? Is to me is an example of toxic masculinity, right?
Okay. So let me just speak from my perspective really quick. So, because like in my head, I kind of thought like that to some degree. It wasn't that I thought that women weren't valuable or that they didn't have anything valuable to contribute to, but it was like the stuff you're bringing up is not relevant to what I'm actually talking about or what I'm trying to fix. Well, so like for example, if I'm talking about a problem and then you just come and start giving me all your feelings about the problem, that has nothing to do with what the problem I'm trying to solve. Like I'm trying to look for an answer to the problem. I'm not trying to hear your complaints about the problem. I'm trying to figure out the solution. Right. And if you're coming to me with just suggestions that don't even thought out or things that don't make sense or just how you feel about it, I'm like, it's not that you're a woman, it's that the things you're telling me just aren't helping me. And I don't need to hear that. And so it may come off as times of like, if someone's telling me something, if they're a woman, for example, it's not that I'm not listening or I'm not taking in what you're saying. It's just that there are times when you're telling me something that is not necessarily, it's more of an emotional base than it is a logical standpoint. And so I'm trying to weed out, is this advice just coming from her because she's feeling this way? Or is this something that, okay, she thought about and this is actually a plan? So then I have to weed out which one it is. And then it comes across as like, oh, you don't respect women or you're not listening to women. And it's not that. It's
all, okay, so you said a lot there, right? Okay. But it's all, first of all, it's all in the matter of the way that you express yourself, right? So I have heard several times from mostly black men. I will even venture out and say 100% all from black men that they don't want to listen or are not going to hear anything that I have to say because you're a woman, right? Simply. Facts. I'm not listening to nothing you said, right? Because you're a woman, right? Now.
Which I don't agree with that.
Okay. But I've heard that several times. Several times. Okay.
I understand. Which is crazy to think about, but okay.
And it's ridiculous, right?
I mean,
because I don't need to go.
That, I'm like, that's just like in my head. I'm
stupid. It's ridiculous.
If someone has something to contribute to
I
say,
ain't gonna
let's
let no woman, and I've also heard like, I ain't gonna let no woman tell me how to do blah blah blah.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, black men.
Yeah. So
my response to that is, why? Right? Like simply why, right? Because I'm not the one to toot my own horn or say anything like this, but I am extremely smart.
Yeah.
Okay. I am very intelligent, right? So the fact that you're telling me you're not going to listen to me has nothing to do with my intelligence or my ability to contribute to what it is that you're going through, right? To help you get over what it is that you're going through. It is simply because of my gender. Or my sex, I understand. Right?
Yeah.
So the reason why I say that, and to me, toxic masculinity is really about men doing things and holding themselves up in a way, right? Just because they are male.
So not by what they've proven, but just by the fact that they
just
were born
because
that way.
The fact that you were born male makes you
superior
higher,
some way.
Superior, anything like that, without actually putting the work in to match that.
I understand.
Is ridiculous, and I think that's something that runs rampant in our community, and I think it starts with the fact that black men don't have a space, right, to be mellow, to be relaxed, to be, you know what I mean? The spaces that exist for a black man to be to not have to, you know what I mean? To not have to be on, to not have to, you know what I mean? Figure out where the threat is coming from, to not figure out how I'm going to get food on the table, to not have to figure, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of the pressures that are put on them, and there are quite a bit, right? There are so many, some that we can't even think of. And the fact that black men have very little spaces, right? Where they can kind of retreat from those pressures contributes a lot to this.
Yeah,
I will say that.
I agree with that. And because like you're saying this and I'm thinking like, if I'm a high value guy, just a guy in general, facing the world as a black man in general, you know, I have a lot of pressures on me just to perform well in general, just to compete. I have to perform well, really good to be an average of other people.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if I come back and all I'm getting is like a non-agreeable woman or someone who's trying to battle me and everything, it's going to be very hard to listen at all.
I agree. But let's look at the reason. Pause. Let's look at the reason why we're calling her non-agreeable, right? Because I was with you until you said everything, right? I was with you with everything, but that term non-agreeable stands out to me. And it's not because I myself am non-agreeable, right? Like I'm not the type that's going to sit and argue with you. You know what I mean? Stand in your face. Like obviously I do it for the purposes of this show, right? Yeah, like it's a debate show, duh. But she's like, ooh. In general, okay. In general, especially in my personal life, like that's not.
Right, you're not going to be like debating if anybody. That's just not you. Okay,
I'm not. Right, I don't care. I'm not. And to say that I don't care enough too is kind of an overstatement, right? Yeah. Because you know I do, but like I don't. Right, so I'm not going to. But if that term is almost placed on any woman that has an opinion. No, right? Okay, so any woman that has an opinion that's different from yours is like, well, she's non-agreeable because she don't agree with you. Like,
So she's. But okay, so there's why there's caveats to this, because if you, as the woman, want to have your man lead, then sometimes even if you don't agree, have a conversation, right? But then if I'm leading and I say, okay, I hear you, this is what I thought of, and this is what we're going to do, then you got to get on board if you're willing, if you want to have that leader, because in order for a leader to be a leader, someone has to follow him.
Agreed.
So when you're going against that, it's like, I'm not saying non-agreeable and like not having opinion. I'm saying non-agreeable in the sense of, if we discuss this and I'm saying, okay, I see all the facts, you laid out everything and I'm going this way, what you don't agree, but this is the way I see it. Then you're just trying to come back. It's like, okay, like this is where the issue is going to come up. And I'm not saying this is everybody, every situation, but that's what I'm saying is I see it that way. It's like in this sense of that particular.
But so everything you said, okay, maybe, right? Okay. Too much to unpack, right?
Okay.
But maybe, right? And I think I agree with 80% of what you just said.
Okay.
Except the majority of the conversations that men and women have, right? They're not going to be with their significant other. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like that works in the confines of you and your household and your woman, right? But in general, right, which is where this toxic masculinity thing is really coming, right? In general, the way that sometimes these men and women communicate is off, right? And the reason why is because sometimes some men
don't want to hear,
especially black men, right? Because they are born male, bring more to the society and to the world and to life and to everything they touch without actually working toward that, right? That's the attitude that they have. They think that simply by the fact that they are male, right? Or I don't know what goes into it because I'm not male, but that's how it comes across, right? You don't have, you know,
I get you.
And it comes across in the things that they ask for, right, from a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I need my girl to do this. I need my girl to do this. I need my girl to do this, but you don't work. Right.
Okay.
And you have a business that is not making any money. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then you know what I'm saying? And you're with a girl who's making all of the money or whatever, and you're trying to dictate what she does with it. And then if she doesn't agree with that, you got a problem. What? You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is how it looks.
Okay. So essentially, let me just interpret what you're saying. If the man is making enough money, then he can pretty much tell you
it has nothing to do with the money,
because the only reason why I said, because you brought up, okay,
that was an example.
If she was making the money
example,
then he has nothing, he can't really say anything. But if he is making money and more money than her, then he has more right to say something. Is that?
No, I'm saying that that for whatever reason, sometimes it feels like men don't have to have anything to back up what it is that they're saying.
Like with the way that them being a man.
Yes, or the way that they're carrying themselves, right? Like they don't have anything to back that up, right? They don't have a work ethic to back that up. They don't have a know-how to back that up. They don't, you know what I mean? The know-how as far as how to run a business, how to be good with your finances, how. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. They don't have the know-how yet. However, they're still walking around, you know what I'm saying? Carrying themselves as a superior
Now, is the ideal person you're talking about? Is this person striving for anything better? Or is this person just the person who's just sitting there
at the point of disrespect? It doesn't matter, right? Okay. Because the things that I'm saying is that it comes across, right? What I'm describing comes across as disrespectful when it's like, you a woman, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, right? Or I don't want you to help me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You understand what I'm saying? Like, let me do what it is that I'm doing. That comes across as disrespectful because it's like, but I got it, or I've done it. Listen, like, and if you just listen, right, I can help you do it too. I
think that's the point where it comes down to, is he biting? That's my dog. Sorry, is he biting you?
Yeah, my shoestrings.
Hey, but I think I understand what you're saying with like the part of you're a woman, don't tell me nothing. I totally agree. Like, that's pure sign of toxic masculinity.
That's the biggest way that I think that, like, I experience it.
And I think there are times, and this is my personal opinion, there are times when my wife, you don't need to talk to me right now. There's nothing that concern if you. Like, trust me. Like, I got this. Like, there's times when she has to just, I don't need to hear it. Like, I already have a plan for this. Don't, like, trust me. Like, I know more about this than you. Right. Like, I know you. Like, I know her. I'm not gonna say it's to anybody who just comes in, you know, because I have superiors that are women. I listen to them like no problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, bosses, managers, you know, APs. Like, all right, I listen. You know, so I listen. So I think, but there are a lot of men that feel like because they're a man, they need to making decisions because, you know, part of it I think is like the biblical thing, like the men lead. You know, the it goes God, then man, then woman, and blah blah blah. So, but I think where that comes from is like the lack of having an opinion or a place in the rest of the world. So everywhere I go, I'm black and I'm a man. Everywhere I go, I have to listen to somebody or do something or be under somebody. And the last thing I want to do
is feel that when you come home.
When I go to another black woman. And then it's like, now it's like, I'm going into the same thing. It's like, where is my rank to make a decision?
I feel that.
Where's my rank to be like, I'm going to lead and I need you to trust me to lead?
I feel that.
And so like, there's a big angst because, and a part of it is like, yeah, I'm the man, so I should be leading. But then a part of it is like, I don't need to go back and forth. Like, I need you to trust me and that's it. Like, sometimes it's not going to make sense. Sometimes I'm going to listen to you. It don't make sense, but you know, we rock with it and it works. Other times you just got to listen. But I think it does go way over more than it gets to that level I'm talking about, where it's like, trust me, we're good, compared to like, I've heard people say that. I've heard it in conversations with certain men. It's like, they abroad, I'm not going to listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, but that's not really true unless you really know that woman particularly. Right. You know? So, and that goes on an individual basis, not I'm not listening to you just because you're a woman. Like, when I know you and I know your qualities and my qualities, there's times where I need to be like, just shut up, don't, like, just back up. And there's times I ain't gonna know what you're talking about. I need to shut up and back up. Right. Like, when it comes to my daughter and her having her first period, I ain't gonna know what to do. Right. She gonna tell me to shut up. I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? You handle it. I don't know.
Handle it then.
I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I don't even know where to start. You know what I'm saying? So
handle it then.
I need to shut up and back up. Get out. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be in that. And there's other times that women don't need to be in these spaces either. But it doesn't mean that you are a woman and you don't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. It just means in certain small instances that you're not needed, and in certain instances I'm not needed to be here and do something for you, you know. But I think that just gets taken too far if a lot of things generalized. Like, you know, I think it just goes way too far, where instead of it being those certain situations, it's like, I'm pay bills. Don't even. I'm not listening to you say how to fix my credit. Right. I'm not listening to you say how to pay these bills out quickly. Right. Because I'm a man. I know what to do. Right. You know. And the other side is, it's the women part is like, well, I don't need you anyways. I'm gonna do my own thing, and then so it just keeps going back and forth. You know. So, and the men, their ego, they don't want to bend down and be like, well, you know, you think you got.
Right. Like, no, and it's a cycle that just.
I'm not going to bend for sure. I'm the man.
That chases itself.
You know.
I agree with everything you just said.
So I think that's where the issue lies. Is like, we both have egos that we're not willing to suppress at times.
I'm not sure if it's an ego thing. I think it really goes back to, and you just alluded to this when you were talking about it, is that the spaces that men have, you know what I mean, to not be, you know what I'm saying, or to whatever, right?
Have the space to really be free from it.
The spaces to be free from taking orders, right? The spaces to be free of, you know what I mean, how to provide, and whatever the case is, right? Those spaces are very limited for Black men. And I think that it has to be a space that they have when they come home, right?
Yeah, we need a place that's like peace, that
has
we can be our kings in our home.
Yes.
And it's really hard to do if our women are telling us we're not shit. So we're not saying women. Some women are going to say
right.
this.
Some
we
women,
shit. We don't need
yeah.
you anyways.
Yeah.
I got my own money.
Right.
I got my own car.
Right.
I can do my own
right.
thing. I need to listen to you. Then it's like, well, then fuck off. Like that's really what it comes down to. Is like, fuck off.
Agreed.
But that's not necessarily saying it's their fault.
No,
I think it's
a two-way street. I mean, I definitely think it's a two-way street in the fact that the ways that we talk to our men is out of pocket.
For
like
sure.
the ways in which some women, a lot of women, talk to men in general. It's just out of pocket, and not just to men, but like our mouths, period, right? The way that we talk to each other. our mouths.
Real talk, women, like this is what I've learned.
And we're so quick, and here's the thing, on both sides, we're so quick to make generalizations, right? Like all men do this, you know what I mean? Or we all have this toxic masculinity thing, or all Black women got this mouth thing. Like we have to be careful with those generalizations because it's not true.
Yeah, everybody goes on individual basis, you know, and how we were raised.
And there are extreme circumstances on both sides of it. But I think that just in order to help our communication, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real on this one though. I think for me personally, I take the responsibility and accountability for the men to lead this, because. But how?
Because if a man is going to say he's going to lead, then he has to lead in every single area. So agreed. I can't sit there and be like, women, you need to change, but I'm just gonna do the same thing. I can't sit there and be like, I don't listen to women, but women need to respect me and do
big facts.
It's like,
big facts.
If that's the case,
big facts.
Then let me be the leader, let me be the king,
right,
and role model what it's supposed to be like.
Big facts.
So for me personally, how I view it, like, yes, women need to take responsibility, but ultimately, the men need to take responsibility and accountability first, and let the women follow suit.
That's another thing too, man. And here's the thing, like, we all have, everybody.
These are generalized statements.
Yes.
I'm not saying this everybody, but just... We're speaking general right now just because.
We all have, there are horror stories on both sides of the board.
For sure.
And what I mean by that is men have horror stories about women who really wasn't shit, talked down to them, was cheating, some really trash ass women, right?
100.
Excuse my language. But then on the flip side of that, there are sisters, right, who have really dealt with some trash ass brothers, right?
Sure.
Like on both sides of the board.
You, sleep on you, not work,
all
not
do
nothing, to mooch off you and take all your stuff, and then you paying for everything.
All of that. But
I'm like, it's crazy.
But not even from a financial perspective, right? Let's say that everything in the house is taken care of financially, but you're nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? Like everything could be taken care of financially, but you're nowhere to be found, right? Everything could be taken care of financially, but the family is still not functioning the way that it's supposed to function because you're not around. Yeah. Right? Like there's so many ways that this can go. Yeah. And because
we put so much financial burden on the men, financial burden, the financial is either makes you or breaks you in a lot of these scenarios we look at.
Especially in the Black community, because we know that the wealth is not necessarily in our community, right?
Yeah.
The economics is not in our community. And because of that, there are a lot more Black families living below the poverty line, right? Yeah. So the money part of this is life or death.
Yeah.
However, I've been around some couples. I've been around some people, right? Where money is not the issue, right? Money is not the issue, right? Yeah. But let me ask you, is that man the king of his home? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And sometimes it has nothing to, it's not financial, right? And it's not because a woman is not taking the space and giving him the opportunity to lead, right? It's because some men are,
they don't know what to do. Maybe they don't know what to do. Maybe they either
don't know what to do or don't care, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're either not trying to improve.
Yes.
Not trying to learn to be better.
And I think that's another one, right? Like how many men are don't have any ambition, you know what I mean? Or aren't moving, looking for anything, right? Like as long as they make enough and we got enough, we cool. And it's like,
or even beyond that, not even open-minded to see if your point of view is wrong or right.
And you're
I think that all sums up everything you just said. Because like literally, like if you're not willing to understand the fact that you could, like, I always think like there's a possibility it could be wrong in everything. So everything I say is not absolute. Yeah. Like I do my research, but everything I say, there's a possibility I could be wrong, and I'm okay with that. But there are men who believe that what they say is right and that's it, definitive, and that's it, no other way around it. And I'm like, that's a big red flag to not like to be to the point where you're not even able to question yourself is a big red flag in my opinion. And so I think everybody, especially men, need to do that time to soul search before you really get in a relationship. Or if you're really looking out here to date, you're looking out here to wife somebody up. Like you got to be willing to accept the fact that you could be wrong in your ideologies or your beliefs or the way you think or how you think things should run because you may not be 100% right like you think you are. And are you willing to be okay with being wrong or admitting you're wrong?
And so many women, I don't really see this in men, but so many women just want to be married, right? Like that's like ultimately like that's their end goal, right? Is to be married. And the way that this plays out is you're settling down, right? With somebody who you can't submit to or allow to lead you long term, right? Like that has to be a conversation, right?
That does.
Women shouldn't be led by every man, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Period.
For sure.
Okay, like let's start there. Women shouldn't be led by every man, right? Women shouldn't allow themselves to be led by every man just because they're a man, right? That don't make no sense. That's stupid, right? So you really need to do some work on yourself to figure out what kind of man am I going to let lead me, right? If you're a smart woman, you can't let no dumb man lead you. Like you just can't. It don't work out.
For sure.
Because what you're saying don't make no sense. And if it don't make no sense, I can't follow you because it don't make no sense.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So then when it talks about, I think when the Bible talks about equally yoked, he wasn't just talking about like both of us got Jesus.
like are our visions aligned? Are our goals aligned?
No, straight up. Are our visions aligned? Are our IQs aligned? Our intelligence, our emotional intelligence, is that aligned? Yeah. Like so much shit, right? Are our credit scores aligned?
Yeah. And I like there's something that's really good
because it's like we both got Jesus. Great.
Yeah, that's one thing. But what about I'm trying to go left, you trying to go backwards?
That's fantastic. But there's a whole lot of broke Christians in the world, right? And I can't be one. So just because we both got Jesus, is you the broke Christian version? You know what I mean? Or is you the conquer the world Christian version? I need to know.
Yeah. Okay. And there's another thing that I just thought about right now. We're gonna wrap this up after this because we're going over. But no, because I thought about it like. This happens with both. Men have expectations of women that are unreal, and women have expectations of men that are just not real. Right. Like they're just not even like a real like thing that I can actually like live up to. So I've seen this with women is so for example, they'll settle for a dude and in their head they're like, he has potential. So they marry.
You can't submit to potential.
So hold on. So they marry based on the potential, and then resent him when he doesn't live up to that potential that they have in their head. So another thing I gotta express this is like if you're gonna marry somebody, you gotta understand that they may not live up to the expectation that you have that their potential is. Right. So you gotta be very mindful. Because what your expectation is may not be real for what that person is. Even though, I mean, everybody has potential to do a lot of things. But is everybody great? When everybody has potential to be great.
When I start dating somebody, you know what I ask myself? What? Can I follow this version of them? Who they are presently? Yeah. Am I capable of following who he is now? Right. Meaning that if he doesn't grow, right, and this is worst case scenario, right? Yeah, because ideally, right, I mean, everybody's gonna grow and get better, right? But hopefully, right? But this version of him, right?
Like, is this good enough for me to be in a long-term relationship at this point? Even though,
can I submit to the worst parts of him? Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because some people's worse are worse than other people's worse. Some
people have a lot of worse. Some people have a little worse. You know. So
right. Like we all. Don't get me wrong. We all have our stuff.
Yeah. But
across the board,
our worst is compatible. Like,
yes.
Can I deal with your worst? Or can you deal with mine? If you can deal. The thing is, if you can deal with the worst.
That's a word.
If you can deal with the worst.
That's a word.
If you learn that the worst. That's just one thing. It's kind of
are our worst compatible?
Yeah, if you show your worst up front, like not up front, like first date, but
right.
In the beginning, instead of playing the whole facade, but kind of show who you are, and you show that, and they accept you for that.
Yes,
it's a big sign that you may be compatible because if they're willing to do this, take this, good and bad.
But if their worst is something that
it's like, oh, your worst is like you a cheater, nah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people can deal with that.
That's the last thing that I wanted to say about toxic masculinity. Another part of this, is that men think that just because they are men, they can have multiple women.
I've never once agreed with that. And I'm gonna tell you,
it's a thing though.
No, it is. I've heard it.
It's a thing.
I've heard this conversation,
and like even, and I've noticed this. Oh my goodness, I have noticed this even with the smartest of black men, right? Because I attract a certain type of dude, right? Okay. I have natural hair, like I'm really smart, so I attract like 3%ers, woke brothers, you know what I mean? Okay. You know, people from the Nation of Islam have tried to talk to me. Like I attract a certain type of dude, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And even the I don't even want to say upper echelon, but even like the
high class. Let's say high class.
I don't even want to use that word, right? Because it's not what it is. It's
okay,
not
but just for the sake of this, okay,
for the sake
not high class, but we're gonna say that for this particular
example. All quotes.
Okay.
All quotes.
Air quotes.
All right.
Okay.
Fake as shit. There is that, and whether or not they're admitted, there is that air to them. You understand what I'm saying?
Like a slight arrogance, like
it's an arrogance. It's an arrogance that I can smash whoever I want to, and still have her.
I've heard the conversation before. I don't agree.
There's so many men like that, and I'm like,
we don't see.
But if I did it,
there's a double standard. I'm not gonna lie. This is a double standard that
not only is there a double standard, a double standard, but there is an aggression, right, that comes out of it, right?
Yeah.
If he did it, right, we sad, right? It's almost like a heartbroken thing, right? If I do it, there is an aggression.
It's beyond disrespectful.
Yes.
It's beyond disrespectful.
Yes.
It is like one of the worst things you could do to a man is like
it's aggression. But do you want to know why? Do you want to know why they feel like that?
Why do you think so?
Because they feel inherently like you were theirs.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So how come I'm yours?
Okay.
But you are not mine in that same respect.
Okay, I'm gonna explain, and it's gonna sound.
I am your plate.
Listen.
Right? Like I'm your plate.
Listen,
right?
I hear you.
Somebody else used my plate.
No. So there's a difference. There's a huge difference mentally with this.
Okay.
A man, and it's very vulgar, but a man will enter into a woman. A woman doesn't enter into him.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm entering into the most private, sacred parts of my woman. That should not be tainted after that. So if it is, it's like, okay, this is mine. Like it's like claiming like it's yours. It's like your property.
Okay.
Like I own this.
Okay.
So now you gonna tell me somebody else gonna run up in there and do some shit?
Okay.
Hell, no.
But it's okay for you to run up in somebody else.
I'm not saying it's okay. I just don't think
that same sort of connection is not there.
No, I just think that it feels differently. I'm not saying that it's not bad. I'm not saying that you guys don't feel just as bad. And maybe just from my point of view,
I think it's interesting.
It just feels like because I'm entering into the most private parts. You're not entering my private parts. I'm entering there. So it's like this is the most sacred place you would have. So if I'm in there, this is mine. Like I can't say that. I can't say it.
So many things come to mind. So many things come to mind.
Look, when me and my wife got together, I thought when we first did it, I thought it was like we were together. Like it was just we're together. That's it. I don't have to ask you out. I don't have to ask you to be like me because like at my head, once we get to that point, we're this. That's how I look at it as. But there are men that's like look at it as like you're just a tool for a pleasure. And so it doesn't go beyond that. So that's why the double standard for men is like, it's cheating, but we don't feel as bad because we're not really, some men are emotionally involved. It's just like a tool to get you off. It's nothing more than that. It sucks because women have to.
So what if we remove sex out of the picture, right?
Okay.
your woman doesn't sleep with another man, right? But she does everything else.
Like cooks and all that shit. Ooh.
She does everything else, right? They are not, there's no sex. There's no entering into the private places, as you put it.
I'm just saying, but that's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying,
I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
Right? But she does everything else. And when she comes home, right? Are you mean
everything else generally?
And when she comes home.
And sexually other things or nothing sexual
Nothing
at all?
sexual.
Okay.
Nothing sexual. And then when she comes home, all you have is her body. That's it. All you have is her body.
It depends how I feel about the woman. It would depend.
I don't think.
I think that,
to be honest with you,
if it's my girl,
I don't think it depends.
It's my girl.
To be honest with you, I don't think it depends. Right? I think the answer to that question is she's stepping out. Right?
Yeah. I understand.
Which goes to say, right?
I mean, I hear what you're saying.
Right, that even though she never had sex with this dude,
emotional attachments. I mean,
there's still something there that she is not giving me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So I hear what you're saying.
So then it's more. So then the point that I'm making, right, is that it's not just about entering into the private places, right? That makes this okay. It's a mindset. Right? Yeah. It's just simply a mindset that says that because I'm a man or because I'm this or whatever, right? Part of my masculinity is being viewed as, right? Or being justified
okay.
by...
I hear you. But so
sleeping with a whole bunch of girls.
So I hear you.
And that's how my masculinity is validated. Knock 1, knock 2, knock 3, knock 4, knock 5. Like that's how my masculinity is validated. And even if I got a girl, right? I can still knock, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, right? That's how my masculinity is justified.
So I'll speak for this and we had to wrap it up. But yes, it would hurt. I would be hurt. Any guy and your girl's doing all these extra stuff for another dude, it's going to hurt. But it's not going to be hurt as someone sleeping with your wife or your girl.
Really?
You're asking a guy, you're asking a man.
Really?
And I was a man, back in my younger days,
Really?
So I'm saying I would say it still stings, it still hurts. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but what I'm saying is if I had to choose between my wife cooking for some guy or laying with her and doing all this other stuff, like the emotional connection,
it's more
I mean,
than
that would be like, that would hurt. I mean, that would be detrimental.
Yeah.
But the sex would be over.
But here's the thing though. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
So say your wife's doing everything for you besides sex, and then she's going out having sex with some guy. That would be worse. That's just, I'm telling you, you're asking for a guy's, you're asking for the guy's perspective. This is how men think. This is how I'm telling you. I'm not saying every man, but in generally speaking,
that's just interesting to me.
We own that.
That's interesting. She goes to somebody else every day. That's who's talking to her. That's who's encouraging her. That's who's, you know what I'm saying, doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, right? That's who's supporting her. When she needs something done, she calls him. She don't call you. Okay. You understand what I'm saying?
So are you saying in the comments of a relationship?
Yeah, y'all married.
So if she's married, I mean, yeah, that's gonna hurt. I'm not saying. So I think you're missing the point of. I'm not saying that's not gonna fucking hurt. Excuse my language. That's gonna hurt a lot. I mean, as your pride is like your girl doing these other things and enjoying some other man's company. Yeah, that's gonna suck. It's gonna be painful. But you having sex with another man?
Okay.
I mean, all right. That's like,
all right.
Like, the sex is the overall disrespect. The disrespect in other levels, it's almost to sex, but then sex is like, you did what? And then you got it. So now it's like so for example, use your situation. She could be doing all this, whatever, blah, blah, stop and apologize. I may wonder, but it's not going to hurt as if I knew this dude banged my girl. And now I'm always going to think every time we get into it, like, what did they do? Did they do better?
The reason why.
And so I'm like,
maybe the reason why I think that your take on this is interesting is because people say this all the time, and I really believe it's true. When a woman cheats, she cheats emotionally first, right? So the body part is just like the last thing, right? Sex is the last thing. So what I'm telling you is that if your woman is doing all of that stuff, but you still have, but she just hasn't slept with him, you know what I mean?
It's just a matter of time.
You've already lost her. She's already gone. And that's why I think it's interesting that you say, oh, but y'all haven't slept together, then there's cool. Because it's not
I'm
like...
not saying it's cool. I never said it's cool. I'm just saying, see, you're missing my point.
I hear what you're saying.
I'm not saying it's cool.
No,
it's never fine.
It's not
cool,
but
we hate it.
But it hurts more.
It hurts more by the sex happening.
It hurts more. But what I'm telling you is that by the time that she gets to that point, your marriage is already over.
Yeah.
You've already lost her.
I agree. And then maybe that's why we know it's worse to the sex, because that was like...
If a man cheats, right? Vice versa, right? If a man cheats, then he's able to come home, you know what I mean, and cry and say, oh, it was just sex, right? It was just physical. I didn't mean it. Like, she doesn't mean anything to me. I don't love her. I don't know her name. Take me back. Take me back. Take me back, right?
I understand. It is a double standard. But you're asking for the guy's point of view.
I just think it's interesting.
So the guy's point of view is a lot of times.
I think it's interesting.
Like, there's times where, like, you're with one girl that you want. Cool. That's perfect. But there are guys out there that's like, novel, like, it's not emotional. It's just, I want to get my rocks off, and then this person's there. It's nothing more than that. It's literally can just be that. There's no emotion. There's no like.
Okay.
It's just the physical act. Like, I can. For
example, how come? So then I hear what you're saying. We don't need an example, right? You're horny. You just want to get laid. What if she's just horny and she wants to get laid?
Well, then why don't she want to have sex with you then?
Then why would?
Because usually the wives don't want to have sex.
Like, dude.
No.
You just fucking
No. It's different. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. No. Hold on. Most of the
you just answered your own question live.
No. You didn't hear what I said.
Okay.
Listen.
All right.
Generally, and this is, but you hear this a lot. Who usually tends to not want to have sex in a relationship and marriage? The men or the women? The women. Who is always trying to have sex with the wife? The man is, the husband. Who is normally turning away? The woman. So then when they finally go off and do something, woman's like, oh my God. But it's like, well, why weren't you giving in to him all the other time? You were too tired. You said no. You weren't horny. It was a problem at work. And then so it's every excuse to not do it. And then when you step out, it's like, why? It's not like the women's over here eager and trying to have sex with you, and you're always saying no, and then they turn around and go fuck somebody. Excuse my language.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You want to get okay. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. No.
I'm not saying everyone, but there's a lot of women, and maybe it's an emotional thing. I don't know.
It doesn't matter, right? Okay. Y'all could be having sex 5-6 days a week.
Okay.
Boom. Everybody tired, right?
Okay.
But if that same man goes out and a woman is looking at him, right? Like he can have it. Does he still fuck her? Yes or no?
Depends.
No, ain't no depends.
It would depend.
Anthony.
It will depend. I promise you.
Most likely yes or most likely no?
If he is sexually satisfied at home, no way.
Really?
I don't think so. I know. Listen. You're asking a man for a man's perspective, and I'm giving it to you, and you're mad about it. It's like,
I'm not angry. I just don't think that's true.
You're like, how do you not think it's true? It's coming from a guy.
I just don't think that's true.
But what do you think?
I just don't think that's true.
Warranted. That's fine.
I just don't think that's true.
That's Chantal. That's fine. But listen, even whether you think it's true or not, you're asking a man for a perspective, and you're like, it's not true. When it's like, okay, a guy, it's like I can't tell a woman how their period's gonna work. I don't know. I'm not a guy.
5-6 days a week, and he goes out on Sunday, right? It's been 2 days, right? And he goes out on Sunday.
I'm saying it can't.
He had great sex with his wife Friday night. Monday, he goes to work.
Okay.
Woman is throwing it at him.
Okay.
Right? All the time. Okay. So maybe he doesn't sleep with her Monday, right?
Okay, but over time.
But she's still throwing it at him. Right?
Okay. It's a possibility. Look, look. I understand. You don't like the answer. You don't like it. Like, you don't like it, but it's not.
It's not that I don't like it. It's not that I don't like
okay,
it. It's the double standard that drives me crazy.
I know.
It's the double standard that drives me crazy.
That don't make sense.
Right? Because if a woman wants to get her rocks off, like if she just everybody has that urge. Everybody's human. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody gets horny, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's not a.
Okay. Yeah.
So why is it okay for a man to exercise his horniness with some random female, but it is not okay for a woman to do the same?
Because that's what society has bred us to believe.
No, fuck that. Excuse my language. It's not about what society has bred you to believe. It's about what you do in your house.
Listen. If everyone says that cheating is okay, you're going to think it's okay to do. If everyone's telling you that your identity is in how many chicks you get, that's what you think you're supposed to do. It's not taught that the women like, oh, go out there and bag as many men. It's like more like, oh, wait for the guy, you know? That's what's shown to you since you're like a kid. Marriage, finding the person. Men are never like talked about, hey, gotta get married and wait, you know? It's like, it's more like you get that hoe, you get that chick, oh, I'm gonna give me one tonight. That's what you're bred into for years and years and years.
So you're telling me.
So I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just saying this is what the reality of it is.
So you're telling me
mm-hmm.
that the issues that men and women have in their relationships, right, in the context of this conversation, specifically to what we're talking about, is because society told them it was okay?
Yes. Some of it is, yes. That's what I truly believe. If you look at it, listen. People should make their own decision on what they should do.
Because society told you it was okay.
Yes. Just like society tells you should wait for marriage for women and tells men to get as many hoes as you can. Why do you think that happens? Why do you think that men are so eager? Part of it is, yes, we're horny, but part of it is you're not being taught to settle down and just be with one person. You're taught to get as many as you can.
That is exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about the toxic masculinity that exists.
I understand. I'm not saying it's right. You ask the question like why it is. That's why it is. It's not right, and these conversations can help change it. But that's the reason why. Think about it. You grew up with watching dudes pour champagne on women.
So society says.
And then so after you do that, you
society says that you should
get as many women as you can.
Hit as many women as you can, right?
Yeah, that's your value is placing your
so you have to hit
the amount of women and the money.
So you have to hit as many women as you can, right?
Well, no, that's what it's kind of like implied. It's
it doesn't
implied,
matter.
Like, yeah,
you're hitting as many women as you can, right?
You're supposed to be getting many girls, bagging tins. All
there
that
has
stuff.
to be a girl to participate in that, right?
Yeah.
So what do you tell your daughter?
What do I tell her?
What do you tell your daughter?
About what, sex and stuff?
About this conversation.
What men will do. Like what men are trying to do.
Don't be the one that get hit?
Yes, exactly. Yes, don't be that one. Don't be that one. Don't fall for the bullshit. Their goals, young men goals, a lot of times they want to have sex. And unfortunately, the women are the gatekeepers for sex. So, what do? Make enough money.
It's crazy.
You make enough money.
Crazy.
And put yourself in a highest valuable situation.
Crazy.
Ultimately, so you can have the chick that you want or the chicks that you want.
Crazy.
Essentially. I mean, if I'm just coming from like
crazy.
The general man perspective.
Yes.
So there is a double standard. I agree.
It's not,
huge.
The fact that the double standard exists is not the problem.
Okay.
Double standard exists.
It is what it is. Okay.
Right? It is what it is.
Okay.
The problem is that we have allowed
mm-hmm.
society
mm-hmm.
to dictate our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We have allowed society to dictate the way that we interact with one another, and as an extension, the way that we raise our children.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We've allowed some bullshit,
mm-hmm.
okay, to creep up into the house. Okay?
Yeah.
And it didn't really creep. You know, it walked in, it opened the door, it comes in the TV. You know what I'm saying? It didn't creep, it walked in.
Yeah.
To come in and dictate our relationship with each other and the way that we raise our children.
Yeah.
And our excuse, right, is not the ways that we should get in front of it, right? Or not the ways that we need to dismantle that, right? Or not the ways that, you know, the double standard has existed, right? What we do is we continue to allow ourselves to operate in what we know is bullshit. That is my problem with this conversation. Not that it's a double standard, because there is, right? Not because of any of it that exists, right? Not because of the social norms, right? Not because of the way that it's constructed, right?
Because we still allow it.
But the fact that we know it's bullshit and we still allow it to dictate who we are.
I understand.
That's some bullshit. It's still everywhere. It's governing the way that we communicate with each other. It's governing our marriages. It's governing the way that we raise our children. And we know it's bullshit.
I agree.
Because you said it was bullshit.
I agree.
So we know.
Like I said, I agree.
And this is how we measure ourselves.
Men measure them off of money and how many chicks, and women will measure you based on how much money you bring to the table. And it's
still bullshit.
And so I understand and I agree with that. I think it is bullshit. And a lot of these guys don't know that until they end up having a kid or having a daughter or screwing somebody.
Enough of them do know.
I think that there are men that do know and maybe don't care. Maybe they're just so selfish and involved in them because that's it. Think about it.
Just like there are women that know. You know what I mean? Like we're not oblivious to it.
Okay.
I mean, maybe we are, but like.
But the thing is with this situation, it takes two participants for this to happen.
Not necessarily.
So if a man is going after if a woman's going after herself, she's not participating in this?
In that example, yes. Like that example, yes.
So it's like that example. We're putting blame on the man, which I agree. But also, all these women are willing to sleep with the dude.
Agreed.
All these women are going to throw it out real quick.
Agreed.
Agreed. I don't agree with this ideology. I don't agree that men should be out here getting all these women. I don't agree. I think you should save yourself and try to get with the one person. I personally think that. That's not what happened in my situation, but I had to go there to learn that. So
right.
I don't agree that you should be with a woman and then be getting chicks on the side. I think it's extremely disrespectful, and I think I wouldn't want it done to me. I wouldn't want my girl out there talking to some dudes, and you know what I'm saying? So I just think that's how it should be. Treat yourself how you want to be. Treat people how you want to be treated. It's that simple. But you know what happens? People get hurt, and they don't care about anybody else's feelings but themselves, and they say, you know what? They burn me, I'm going to burn you next.
This is all stupid.
It is, but that's the truth.
This is all stupid.
It's the truth, though. It can be stupid, but it's real.
All right. Friends.
I mean, like, you know, like, I hear you.
This is all stupid.
But, like, stupid, not stupid, true, like, I hate it, I don't, whatever it is.
This is all stupid.
It's the reality. And the reality is, you change it by having the discussion.
The reality is that this is some bullshit.
It is.
That is what I'm leaving this conversation with. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have no silver lining for you folks. If you, thank you.
That was good. But you did get this good, Chantal. I think this is good for opening up people to talk about it.
No.
Because think about it, these conversations need to happen so people can actually see both sides.
That is some
bullshit. And not just be like, oh,
but then after you discover it's some bullshit, right? Because here's the thing, man. What we just realized is that I would say like 40% of the people know that it's bullshit. Mm-hmm. And the 40% that know that it's bullshit, do you know what they do?
Do it anyways?
Yes. The bullshit continues. So that's all I have to say.
Yes,
about
that's an individual person. You know, we can go.
That's all I have to say about that.
But you know, it is what it is. Thank you, Chantal. This is a good conversation. I think this is really helpful. I think as much as it's like bullshit, and you may however you feel about it, I think it's good to bring the awareness, because maybe somebody doesn't know. Maybe they're like, you know what? Damn.
Maybe it's still bullshit.
Maybe I've been thinking about this the wrong way. It is really bullshit, and I'm over here trying to, prove myself to a bunch of people I don't even need to prove to anyways.
Duh.
So like, yeah, but like, exactly. We gotta go.
Hitting my mouth on the mic stand and stuff.
Shit. We gotta do this again. But that was good. I think it was really helpful conversation. I think it was just good to. I never really went there, so it's good to hear both perspectives. I think we need to hear each other.
My lip hurt.
Oh gosh. Anyways,
thank you guys
go ahead, Roberts. Go ahead.
For tuning in to another episode of the Unpack Your Bag Podcast. Don't forget to like this video, comment. What are your thoughts?
Yes.
Join the conversation. It's really important to us when we read your comments. And go ahead, subscribe. Go ahead and hit the little bell notification so you can stay updated with all things Unpack Your Bag
Before
podcast.
we go, you do have a slight accent. Every once in a while, it just turns up. You said conversation. Like,
all right. All right, y'all. Bye.
It was again. I
I'll
said
see
it
you
last
later.
time. All right.
I'll see you later. He tripping again. I'll see you later.
You did. Peace, love, and hair grease. Y'all let me know if y'all heard the accent. Listen to it. Bye.
Ain't no accent, bro.
Yes, it was.
All right, bye.
I'm gonna get the last word.
Them lonely boy blues, only boy blues. Them lonely boy blues, only boy blues. You don't hear about it every day.
Back, homie. Yeah, if you just move your arm like that, it makes people think you serious.
Okay, really?
If you just...
So I'm over here like, shut up.
No, because you was like this, right? My hand is like this.
Do it again. Let me see. Get the fuck out of here.
Right? Your hand is like this, right?
That was more like kind of gay. I was like...
Yeah,
I honestly didn't see what you did.
I don't know.
I didn't actually look at what you did. I just was like, I just saw in the corner of my eye gesturing.
And then it has to be with my left hand too, where it's like...
It's like it's it's the face. It's the face that does it more. You're just like nah.
It could be anything.